Most gym owners are making the same mistake with their apparel. They're pricing it like a commodity instead of a premium product it actually is. And here's what I mean. You charge $180 a month for your gym membership. Your members drive past $3 $10 gyms just to get to you. They clearly value quality and are willing to pay for it. So why are you selling your gym's branded apparel for the same price as a generic shirt from Walmart? My name is Albrizio. I run Forever Fierce, and over the past few years, we've helped thousands of gym owners discover that their members will happily pay a premium price for apparel if you present it the right way. Today, I'm showing you the exact pre-order pricing strategy that's increased apparel revenue by 40% for our clients while making their members more excited to buy, not less. So one thing I want to talk about before we get into the tactical pricing strategy piece is some mindset stuff. And this isn't woo-woo, this isn't like silly stuff. You really need to have this mindset going into things, because if you don't, you're never going to be open to increasing pricing or setting the right prices to begin with. So look, here's the first thing I try and explain to all gym owners. I call this the gym owner advantage, but you guys spend an insane amount of face-to-face time with your members, and you need to make the most of this time. Most companies, most brands don't get 3 to 5 hours of uninterrupted time in front of their customers. You do. And one thing that gym owners probably don't realize is that your members probably aren't aware of all the different things that you offer. So for example, you might do nutrition coaching, or you might even have like personal training. And trust me when I say this, I send out a ton of emails every week. I make a lot of content. I write a ton. I'm talking to tons of people every week. I will still have clients who I consider like, these are my ride or die people. I'll post something and they'll be like, wait, I didn't know you did that. And I'm like, dude, that's like a foundational part. Like, I didn't know you send free sizing samples. I didn't know you make the web store for us. Like, these are all things that I think like, these are like the basics in working with us, but even our go-to clients have no idea that some of this stuff even exists. And the same is true in your business. So like when you do these apparel orders, you have to maximize the time you have in front of people. Otherwise, again, they probably don't even know you're doing apparel. They don't even know how to order. So when you have this time in front of people, that 3 to 5 hours a week, please maximize it. You know, tell people the apparel order is available. Here's how to order. And again, this is stuff that other brands are paying hundreds of dollars per click just to get in front of high paying clients like this. I just want to remind you before we get started about this pre-order pricing strategy, make the most of the time you have in front of your members. Now, before I talk about this is a very tactical strategy. And to be honest, it gets a lot of kickback. It gets a lot of like people, some reason freak out when I start talking about this stuff. And they're like, this will never work. I don't know why I can't do this. I just know. And it's like, look, I just want you to, for the next few minutes, let me lay this out, have an open mind to things, try not to emotionally react to this, and just listen to everything I have to say, and then we'll go from there. So let me explain to you how we can set a reasonable price for apparel and how I've fixed the pre-order at thousands of gyms, but you have to be open-minded to it, okay? So just hear me out. So what I want you to do for the pre-order price, and this is gonna fix your pre-order forever. So for those gyms who are like, I just can't get people to pre-order stuff, this is the only way to do this and only way to fix this forever. This is the only strategy that works. Again, you could try different designs and different garments and the magical color t-shirt. None of that stuff matters. It comes down to price point. So I need you to listen very carefully here. I want you to set the pre-order price at your normal, comfortable price point. Let's say that's 30 bucks, okay? So, hey everyone, we have our summer collection available right now. The introductory price point on this, the pre-order price point, is $30. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell people you're gonna have inventory, but if they buy your inventory, the shirt is now $35 to $38 if they buy your inventory. This is the part of the talk where people freak out and they're like, I would never pay 35 bucks for a t-shirt. We're gonna get to that in a second, but there needs to be a very clear, mandatory, and just heavy price point for people who don't participate in the pre-order. There is no other way to get people to participate in the pre-order other than doing some type of penalty for not participating in it. If you're pre-ordering shirts for 30 bucks and then you sell them at the gym for 30 bucks, there's no reason to pre-order. So we need to have a price incentive there, and it's going to create a ton of urgency, and people want to feel like they won. They want to feel like they got a deal. They want to feel like they saved money. Look, you could set this price for whatever you want it to be. I find that $5 higher than the pre-order price gets people moving. So whatever price you want to pick, 35, 36, 37, whatever, I just find that $5 higher than the pre-order price gets people moving. The other thing that this will accomplish is it preserves your inventory for visitors and drop-ins. Too many times I jump on the phone and a gym owner will say, I don't have any drop-in shirts. I don't have any inventory left for visitors. And that's really annoying. And the reason is because you're not telling people they need to pre-order this or they're gonna pay a heavy price for it. If you wanna sell your inventory shirt or your drop-in tee for 25 bucks to visitors or a new member or something, by all means, I will not argue with you about that. But if you wanna preserve your inventory and you actually wanna have stuff for when people will visit your gym, you need to protect some of your inventory at all costs and have people pay a heavy price for not participating in the pre-order. Now, before I show you how to handle these objections your members might have, I wanna make something clear. Everything I'm sharing today comes from working with thousands of gym owners who've implemented this exact strategy. At Forever Fierce, we handle the entire apparel process for you. Design, samples, pre-order setups, marketing templates, fulfillment, everything. We do it all. What makes this work is our pre-order model, and this means you don't pay a dime out of pocket. We can't work with every gym owner, but if you wanna see if this could work for your gym, there's a link in the description to book a quick call with me. Anyways, let's get back to these price objections. So look, now's the time where you can give me the, you're gonna scare off members, or I would never pay 35 bucks for a t-shirt. Let's talk about the, I would never pay 35 bucks for a t-shirt. Look, it's really hard, but you can't apply your personal financial situation to a premium fitness business. The people who are paying a premium to show up at your gym, who are paying $150 to $500 a month for fitness, these people have a lot of discretionary income. They're probably driving a $120,000 car. They're probably living in a nice house. They probably have a very cushy job that they work to be able to afford something like this. So I will tell you that most of these people who go to your gym, they don't care if the shirt is 25 or 30 bucks, okay? If they don't care, then you should price it higher, okay? But you can't apply your personal financial situation to your members, because chances are your personal financial situation is not the same as someone who can afford a $500 a month gym membership. Now, the other thing I hear a lot is, this will scare off members, or I just know I can't do this. And it's like, okay, I understand. Everyone has a business intuition and a gut feeling on this stuff. Look, more oftentimes than not, my gut feeling is right on stuff too, but I always like to ask people, do you actually have any data on this? I just find that most people have never even tried this and they just do, I just know. And it's like, how do you know? Have you ever tried any products at a premium price point? Have you ever increased your pricing at all? These are all things when you start to ask people this stuff, they're like, I just know. And it's like, look, you have to at least try it. That's all I'm asking you to do, try it. We can adjust the strategy based on that. Just give it a try and let's go. Now, one other misconception I see, and this is probably the most poisonous thing you can introduce in your business, is my members are poor, my members are cheap, my members are price sensitive, but they're not. Because if they were, they wouldn't be going to a $180 a month gym. There's 3 or 4 gyms in your area that are priced at 10 to 20 bucks a month, and they can go get their fitness in there. You know, like they're joining your gym to have a premium experience. If you're not gonna provide the premium experience, they'll just go to the $10 gym. So like you're not competing with, you know, insert big box gym name here. You know, you're really competing on a premium experience and you need to match that with people. So your members are not as price sensitive or cheap as you think they are. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is why higher pricing actually works. One misconception I see as well is like, my members will know if I go from $25 to $30 for a t-shirt. And it's like, I'll be honest with you, I have all the data on this. The gym owners who say this to me, and then I go back and look at their numbers, there's no difference sales wise. Like, you know, we were doing 25 bucks and then they, you know, I reluctantly tell them, hey, let's move this to 30 and see what they say. And they surprise themselves when they see the data, there's no sales difference. The same amount of people buy regardless if it's 25, 27, 30, 32. Sales are pretty consistent over that. So again, if people aren't going to be that price sensitive, just charge what t-shirts should be priced at right now. The one thing I always tell people is, how would some extra revenue really help reinvest in your business? And it might just be $5 increase, but over the course of time, if you're selling 300 to 500 shirts for the year, that stuff adds up pretty quickly. And I always ask people, what would you do with an extra $2,500 in your pocket? Maybe you're gonna pay off some debt. Maybe you're gonna go on that vacation you promised your spouse years ago. But really, it's not a dirty thing to sell this stuff to members. They want to buy it. They expect to buy it. And you can benefit from this as well, all right? There's really no moral victory in underpricing your apparel. Now, another frequent thing I see on calls is a gym owner who will start the conversation with, to be clear and honest, I'm not looking to make a profit from apparel. And I hate when people say this to me, because they've probably just been burned in the past, or they've took a loss in the past. And honestly, that was then, this is now. This is working with me. I'm going to make this profitable for you. I'm going to look out for your profitability on this. I'm not going to let you take a loss on this, okay? If you follow everything I'm saying, it will be impossible to take a loss on this. I find that the people who say, I'm not looking to make a profit on this, they're just hedging their emotions at the end. And they're just building in that safety net where if there are low sales, they can tell themselves and make themselves feel better that, well, I don't rely on this anyways. I don't want to make a profit on this anyways. And just don't do that, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to have some confidence. I want you to believe that this is going to work out and this can be profitable. But we're going to aim for profitability. We're not going to aim aim for, we're not just gonna aim for, it was good enough, oh, I only sold 25 shirts. No, we're gonna aim for profitability. How can we still be profitable at 25 shirts? How can we be profitable when we get you up to 50 shirts? Again, this should be worth your time. And if you just follow everything I'm saying, I promise I'm going to make this worth your time.